I'm 3 years in now to Welly, and essentially you join Wellington Country Park to catch a 50 pounder. First couple of years I came close, had a couple of 47s and stuff like that. Achieved what I set out to do in the summer of this year with a fish called the Chestnut Common, which was 51 pound, and a few other nice target fish that I wanted. There's a big fish in there called Scruffy Bob. He's the king of the pond. At the right time of year he's done 60 pound. I turned up and was talking with another member, and I see one clatter out in the cove. And I said to him, I'm going to go in a swim called Lorries. It's quite well known from the Thinking Tackles with Dan and Ian McMillan. And then I heard one clatter out in Bramble Bay, and I'm thinking, oh no. And then another one went out in Bramble, and I'm thinking, have I done the right thing? Are they in Bramble Bay? But Bramble runs, Lorries runs into Bramble, so to speak. So I thought, well, I'm not too far away. There's been one show in the cove, and it's an area I've been priming for a couple of weeks anyway, and I've been having fish off of it quite steadily. About 10:30 that night, I have a 25 common. So I was well happy. I was like, what lovely. And there was big southwesterlies coming in, like big hooning southwesterlies. Pressure had gone through the floor. I thought, no, that's it. I'm gonna put 2 out there, 10 spoms of cell hybrid. It was probably about 5:45, 6 o'clock, something like that. The light was starting to change. It was sort of coming from night into daylight, and I'm sort of just murmuring, and I just get a ding on the alarm. And I thought, that's a bite. You know, you're fishing at range, your clutch is locked up. Ding, ding. And by that time, I'm pulling my chest waders on. I've got my chesties on. And then it comes out the clip. Did, and he's trying to take line on the clutch. But the clutch is tight. I fish tight clutches anyway, but it's just as I get down there, it's just ticking. And I pull into this fish, and it's probably, I don't know, 100 yards out, and I'm using 3 3/4 pound test curve rods, and the rod's hooped over, and he's like, and he takes 5-10 yards of line, and then it goes solid, and then I start to gain a bit on him, and a bit more on him, and then he starts to go right, just kites right. But the whole way I'm thinking, yeah, you feel like a better fish. And he wasn't scatty. I'd had a 32 the week before, but this was just heavy, just heavy. He gets probably 10 yards out, and well, he's shallow, it's 4 foot, 5 foot deep, most of it. And then the first big vortex comes up, and it's huge. It's the size of a brolly, and you're like, whoa. And at this point, I'm thinking, please don't fall off. And then he just starts to go left, and he's trying to go towards me other lines, and I'm like, no, I'm not having none of this. I'm the governor here. And then another big swirl, and it's like 4 foot of water, but he's shifting loads of water, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? And he's like, and that rod's like over, and you're like, whoa. And then all of a sudden, he takes his first gulp of air. And then he goes down again, and he's like that, and then he's up again, and I think, right. And I'm bringing him closer and closer, and he's on the spreader block. Yep, he's on the spreader block, he's in. And I'm thinking, oh. And I know he's a better fish. He's better than the ones I've had in the last few weeks. You can just tell by the fight. And then I sort of, lift the net, and I'm looking down the back of his sort of body, and as I start to go towards his head, he's getting wider and wider, and I think, you're a 50 pounder, mate. You're a 50 pounder. And a 50 pounder in there, to give some context here, is probably a foot across. And I'm thinking, right. So I sort of secured the net, I ran back to the bivvy, put the head torch on, and I thought, I think I recognise you. So I'm sort of moving the mesh apart. Let's have a look, Les. And there's the lobe. I thought, I've got you. You're mine. You're one of the special ones of Welly. And they put him on the scales, and this time you're sort of in shell shock, and you're like, whoa, this is all a bit surreal. I've got a whacker here, and I knew he would be big.
Bowled out, mate.
Wow. Yeah, you're bottomed out, mate.
You've bottomed out, mate.
60 pounder.
And they're like, Dave, it's bottomed out your 60 pound Rubens. I was like, what? I'm still in a daze of what's going on. And it took me about 20 seconds, and I said to him, but they're 120 pound Rubens. You can't have bottomed them out. And they're like, oh, right. And then they're looking at the dial and they're going 61, and I'm like, whoa. And then the numbers keep coming up, 61, 61-1, 61-2, 61-3, 61-4. 61, 12, 15, yeah.
Dave?
61-12.
61-12.
Yes, please!
Yes, new lake record. Absolute machine. Dave?
Whoa. And you're trying to put into context of a fish of that size and how rare they are in the UK. And you know, and then you have all sorts of strange emotions, or I did anyway, going through my head as in, I've got to pick this thing up now. And you're like, Dave, pull yourself together, man. You've had fish to nearly 80 pounds in France. Of course you can pick it up and hold it. So we did some nice pictures, got some good photos, and then I let out the cheer, Scruffy! And then people leave, and you just sat there and you just, whoa, what has just gone on here? And yeah, and it still hasn't sunk in now. It's a real feeling.